Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Detroit, Michigan, it's time for Detroit Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Detroit Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get into it, it's important to recognize our sponsor, Activate Your Great Consulting Agency, who's supporting this episode. Today on Detroit Business Radio, we have Ted Austin with Bank Michigan. Welcome, Ted.
Hey, Lee, how are you?
I am excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about Bank Michigan. How are you serving folks?
Bank Michigan, we're a small community bank. We're based out of Brooklyn, Michigan, but we've got branches in Ann Arbor, Onstead, and Brooklyn, and we're able to service people. We have a great online presence as well, so we can do a lot of stuff digitally. But we've been around since 1907. We were founded in 1907 out in Onstead, a small farming town. But we, throughout the years, we've grown with technology, and we still utilize even the latest technology to help service our clients, even though we're a small community bank. So.
Now, can you explain to our listeners the difference between maybe kind of the billboard bank that they might see? Maybe that's on a stadium versus a community bank. Could you explain how those two entities, they might think they're the same, but they're very different, aren't they?
Yeah, very different. When you have a big bank, because I've worked, I've been in banking and financial services for, over 15 years now myself, and I've worked for some of the big guys, and now I work for, a small community bank, and it's a world of difference. When you have a big bank, you walk in and you do, functionally they function a lot the same, right? You have your transactions, but on the back end, it's the difference. When I'm sitting down with a customer, I know that customer's name, I know everything about them, and a relation. We really stress building a relationship and building a partnership with our clients, and helping them, as opposed to them just being numbers on a paper and having, filling out a box and checking all the boxes on a form. We really try to help our customers and go out of our way and know their business almost as well as they do, so that we can help provide them guidance and support and do whatever they need to do to grow their business.
And in today's business climate, that to me is critical, because that could be the difference between, getting an SBA approved loan. It could be the difference between getting some of that PPP. Having a partner as your banker as a partner, that could be game changing.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have a relationship with your banker, it really, your banker becomes an advocate for you and your business, right? So when I've got my client sitting in front of me, my I don't like to call them clients. I'm more of a partner with them. I feel I have a vested stake in their business. Maybe not as much as they do, obviously, as being the business owner, but, we have quite a vested stake in their business as well. So we really want their business to succeed. So, we really do everything we can. We put 100% of our energy into, getting them stuff like PPP loans. We have an SBA division, which is actually something unusual for some of the smaller banks don't have a dedicated SBA division. They'll do SBA loans, but we actually have a, dedicated SBA team. And so we really try and come up with all the different products and services and try and come up with the best way to make their business successful and get them what they need. I like to say when other banks say no, we try and find a way to say yes, even if we have to be creative about it.
Right. So your client or customer or partner is actually getting pretty much everything they would get from one of these kind of mega banks, but they're also getting that a lot more personal service and advocacy of you helping them and watching their back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that advocacy and that partnership really is the keystone for the community banks. It's we have the best interest at heart for them, and they know when they walk in the door, or even if they don't walk in the door, we're looking out for them, and they're our number one priority. We don't. They're not just another number that if something goes wrong, we can just go out and find another customer. They're our partner. We really stress having a partnership with them, and we're not afraid to have the hard conversations with them. If we see things are going bad or we think they need to make changes, we'll sit down and have those conversations with them. We like to shoot it straight, and And I think that's really important for a business person. You don't want to waste time with, trying to track people down or having, or somebody who's beating around the bush and just kind of giving you the runaround if they don't want to work with you. We try and shoot our customers straight.
Well, even worse to me is the fact that every time you go in there, there's somebody else in there. Like the person you might have dealt with in the big bank, last week isn't there this week. There's somebody else and you got to re-explain everything. They don't know who you are. You're just kind of a name on a spreadsheet. And
absolutely. Staff turnover is one of the biggest headaches I've heard about complaints about larger banks is they don't know who they're dealing with. And with me, you have that personalized information. The CEO of my bank is in my office, 3 days a week. He walks into my office and has a conversation with me about my clients and what can we do for him. And we have that, so that the CEO of our bank is actually working directly with clients as opposed to, and you don't get that at one of the big banks.
Now, let's talk a little bit. You mentioned earlier about this SBA loan program, that what you're doing is a lot different than maybe other community banks and maybe even some of these larger banks. Can you talk about, how you help get access to capital? Because that's one of the biggest hurdles for a small business is access to capital. And if you've kind of figured out a way to help these folks kind of get those SBA loans where maybe they were having a difficult time, or maybe they didn't even consider getting one because they thought it was too impossible.
Yeah, there's the SBA is a great tool. We implemented our SBA team. I want to say we brought them on board October of last year, October of 19, not October of last year. I can't believe time flies when you're having fun, right? October of 19 is when we started our dedicated SBA team, and Katie and Mike, they do a great job. They specifically dedicate 100% of their time to working with SBA deals because when you're dealing with the SBA, it can be a little bit more cumbersome. So a lot of business owners will say, "Oh, I don't want to deal with the SBA," because you're dealing with a government agency, and the bureaucracy of getting one of those loans can be very intimidating for somebody who owns let's say you own a manufacturing plant, or you're dealing, most of your time is being consumed by running your day-to-day business. To have to deal with the bureaucracy of a federal government agency can really be intimidating. So Katie and Mike and our SBA team do a fantastic job. They kind of make it super simple for our business owners. They actually put together all the paperwork. We'll go over every line, make sure all the T's are dotted and all the I's are crossed, or however it goes, and make sure everything is perfect. So if an SBA loan is appropriate, and there's a lot of cases where an SBA loan can be appropriate for a business, they don't need to feel intimidated or feel scared to go through that, because our guys will walk them right through it and kind of do everything for them and make it as easy as possible. I've seen, when I was working in one of the larger banks, I've seen SBA loans that took, anywhere from 4 to 6 months to close, from application to closing. And I've seen Katie and Mike, I've seen them close SBA deals in as little as 3 weeks. So they really cut down on the time and hassle that it takes, for the business owners a lot. And the SBA can be a great source of capital because, when there's a couple things that big banks look at when they're trying to figure out a deal for a customer, and then they look at collateral and they look at cash flow. And if one of those, for a bank to do a traditional loan, the client needs to have good collateral and they have to have good cash flow. Well, that makes the deal a no-brainer. But what the SBA does is the SBA will guarantee those loans, sometimes up to 90% of the loan to the bank, and say, hey, if there's a problem here because there's maybe the collateral, there's a shortfall in collateral, or maybe the deal doesn't cash flow out perfectly, the SBA takes a lot of the risk off of the bank, so that allows the bank to make loans to customers who have a shortfall in one of those areas, and gives us a little bit more latitude to work with some of those people. And then it also it's also a great resource for the customer themselves, because the SBA is going to put a lot of procedures in place. They put a lot of procedures in place to make sure that the client is getting a good deal, right? That they're not getting taken advantage of. there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through that, for you to get a loan that, let's say you're purchasing a business, right? You have to make sure that business is fair price and you're not getting taken advantage of. And it becomes a good backstop to make sure that the business owner's getting a good deal, not getting taken advantage of, but is still able to make the deal, get the capital that they need to really get to work and start growing their business.
So now, what are some of the things that an SBA loan could be used for?
Oh gosh, it's quite a lot. We've done SBA loans for purchasing businesses. We've done SBA loans for just last year we did one for a guy who was buying his father out of the business. So we actually used that as a purchase. So if you wanted, he had worked for the business for years and he wanted to buy, his father was retiring. So they were able to set up an SBA loan so that they could, the son could purchase the assets and the dad could take the money and go off and retire, and golf and sit on the beach. We've done that, but even we've done SBA loans for, I've got a painter who set up a SBA line of credit, so that he's able to buy paint in bulk and buy, sprayers and all of his equipment, so that he could go out and do commercial work and do some bigger jobs and not have to worry about the cash flow of getting money from the client up front or getting the job done. So he has the money to buy the materials, to go out and do the work and then get paid from the client. He doesn't have to worry about, he makes sure his guys get paid and all that, and he's got that cash flow purpose. So, and we've even had, you can use SBA loans to buy buildings or buy real estate or just an infusion of cash because you have a new prototype that you're building and you need to bring it to market, something like that.
Now, I'm a big proponent of having a banker become part of your kind of trusted advisor, maybe an informal trusted advisor board that you might have because of those reasons. You can help with access to capital. You can help with, kind of keeping the financial engine running in terms of kind of watching our back. But also, everybody in town, all the players, and you can really help from a networking standpoint as well. Do you find that being in your seat, knowing so many business owners, it enables you to really kind of be a matchmaker and help maybe introduce some folks that maybe didn't know each other but should?
Yeah, absolutely. At Bank Michigan, especially, we take partnership, being a partner with our clients, very, very strongly. We define the partnership. If we've got, and I've done that multiple times where I'll have a customer who, we've got a customer who is a farmer who grows corn, we've got, and we've introduced him to a customer who's using that corn to make mash for, a distillery. And then we've got another customer who we've introduced to that will buy the used grain that you use to feed his pigs. So we try and help find that symbiotic relationship. But we've got one customer that's doing something and they come to us and say, hey, I need this. And, what can I do? And, so we've got another customer that's doing something in that same field or something that could be complementary to them. We absolutely will, make that invite. Maybe we'll take them both out to lunch and say, hey, you guys should meet each other and see if you guys can do business. Again, we have as a community bank, we have a vested interest in being an economic engine to grow the economic force in our community. And if we can just make an introduction and be a resource for our clients to make business connections or even, client connections, we're absolutely more than willing to do that. We do that all the time.
Now, the community bank, we've been talking a lot about business, but you're also there for personal financial solutions as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are members of FDIC and equal housing lenders. But we do, so we offer community, consumer products as well. We have checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, money market accounts. We have all the same products and services that you would offer. Home equity line of credits. We really try and take a tool, any kind of financial tool that somebody needs we want to be able to provide that for them. So yeah.
So now, what's the most rewarding part of the job for you?
Really for me, I love working with the clients and working with people and watching them succeed. One of my favorite clients that I talk about all the time, obviously because of secrecy rules, I can't give their way, but was a client. He started off as he had a taco truck. He was just a food truck serving tacos out of a truck. And he came to me and wanted a loan to start a sit-down restaurant. He now has 3 sit-down in over 5 years. He actually grown that to have 3 sit-down restaurants, and still has a taco truck, which is doing fantastic. Seeing him, but being able to see him grow, he now employs over 70 people. He's struggling right now because of the pandemic, obviously, but he's staying afloat. He's being able to stay afloat because he can do a lot of takeout and stuff like that. We've been able to help him with a couple of the PPP loans, but keep him afloat. But he's doing a tremendous job, and I have no doubt that he's going to keep growing. He's got plans to even keep growing his restaurant once everything gets back in working order. But he's one of my favorite clients, and that's not because I still get free tacos when I go in there. I just love the story of when he. His success story over the last 5 years, I've seen him be able to grow so much. It's been tremendous. So,
well, I mean, like we were saying earlier, during these chaotic times, this is when it would have been nice to have invested in a relationship with a banker like you. But the next best time is today. So if somebody wants to learn more about Bank Michigan, what's the best way to kind of connect with you or somebody on your team? Do you have a website?
Yeah, bankmichigan.com. It's really easy. And we chose Bank Michigan as a name because it's name and a statement, right? We Bank Michigan. So bankmichigan.com is a fantastic resource. You can learn all about our products and services. Reach out. We're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We're on all the social media websites as well. And you can always reach out to us as well. My branch phone number here is 517-592-1079. Give us a call here or hit me up on social media.
Good stuff. Well, Ted, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Lee.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Detroit Business Radio.